Torah guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah nation.
Shalom, 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 Yasharal and Yahuda. Grafted in Gentiles into the body of Hamashiach. We praise Yahuwah for the witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. We praise Yahuwah that we are children that are under his dominion. Listening to none other than Hezekiah. The song is entitled, Haven't I? Haven't Yahuwah done exactly what Yahuwah said he would do? You must have an endurance that endures to the end. You must have an Amunah that endures to the end. Abba Yahuwah, in the name of Yeshua Mashiach, I give you praise for the Ruach HaKodesh that is in my belly, which you said would spring forth rivers of living water. I thank you that you take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. I thank you that because of you, I don't cause anyone to stumble, anyone to be turned out of the way, and anyone to come up lame, as I trust in your Ruach HaKodesh to speak a word, speak a Torah through me. Abba Yahuwah, in the name of Yeshua Mashiach, I take authority over the workings of Asatan, taking authority over principalities and powers and dominions and darknesses. Abba Yahuwah, binding unclean ruachs, familiar ruachs, ruachs of deception, ruachs of distraction, ruachs of witchcraft. I bind you in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach in the erects, taking authority over you concerning those that Yahuwah has chosen. See, because there's something that Yahuwah has chosen that you don't have a right to. And in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, I command you to take your hands off of them by the power and authority of the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. Yahushua has appointed for them. Yahuwah has appointed unto them Yeshua. You don't have dominion over them. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, I command you to take your hands off them. Take your hands off their finances. Take your hands off their blessings. Take your hands off their health. Take your hands off their minds. Take your hands off everything that pertains to them in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Abba Yahuwah, I thank you for greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. Abba, I thank you that I can do all things through Hamashiach Yahushua that strengthens me. Abba Yahuwah, I praise your name right now, for greater is he that is in me. Greater is he that is in the Mishpachah. Greater is he that is available for those that you have chosen who've received your word from out of the world. Abba Yahuwah, I pray for them. I don't pray for the world. I pray for the world. I pray for those that you've chosen in the world. Those that you have chosen, that you have set your hands on to bring out of the dominion of darkness. Abba Yahuwah, I pray for them. I pray, Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, that they would come to know you in the power of your resurrection and the fellowship of your sufferings, being conformed into your image and your likeness. In Amunah, prepared to do it until the end. I pray. Abba, I pray that the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart would be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen, we serve Yahuwah Elohiym. We serve a Yahuwah Elohiym. We serve Yahuwah Elohiym. Right? We do not serve the dominion of darkness. We do not serve the dominion of darkness. Right? We have been purchased. We have been bought. Now, Yasharal and Yahuda, you know, the onus is responsibility. It's on you as a nation to understand that Yahuwah has provided Yeshua in accordance with a promise that he has made to Avraham seed, to restore you to a place of being in fellowship with him through the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, accepting the atoning blood in Amunah that he has provided for you, that translates you from the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of Yahuwah's dear son. Listen, you have an opportunity, Yasharal and Yehuda, to be restored as a people of Yahuwah. You have a covenant with Yahuwah. A covenant through Hamashiach Yahuwah that is written in your heart. You have a history of the law and the prophets. You have that which Yahuwah has provided you to be restored, to return. This is not for the world. Yahuwah didn't come to save the world. He came to save those that he had chosen from amongst the world. The world hates him. The world hates Yahusha. And if you're born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh, make no mistake about it, they don't like you either. They don't like you. And it's just a matter of time before they will remove you. If they can. If they can. See, there's some places that Yahuwah will pull you out of. There's some places that he'll put you in for a season, right? But if you decide that you want to stay in this place, right? And Yahuwah's like, no, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that, right? He'll pull you out. He'll make folk terminate you. Listen, I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. I know. Listen. You belong to a different dominion, a different kingdom. You have a responsibility to those that Yahuwah has chosen from amongst the world. Yes, you are a light. Yes, you present this witness, because the truth be told, when we declare a word or we share a witness, there's no guarantees that the people that we're sharing it with are going to receive it. It may be their judgment. Maybe their judgment. Listen. Those that are in the kingdom and the dominion of Hasatan, they love their pornonia, they love their witchcraft, they love their familiar religions, they love these things. They are sold out to these things, and there is nothing that you're going to do to change that, because Yahuwah has blinded the minds. He's blinded the minds. You know, Shaul went into places and preached. And at one point he went into a place and they stoned him and drug him out of the town, because he was declaring the righteousness, and they weren't feeling it. They weren't feeling it. They stoned him and dragged him out of the town. You know, Shaul got up and went back into the town. You can't take my life. Yahuwah raise it up. You gotta have an Amunah that endures to the end. Listen, man of Yah, woman of Yah, understand that this witness is for those of you who has chosen. That's why not all Yasharal is Yasharal. Right? Just because you E1B, 1A. Right? Just because you understand that, you know, your ancestors are the reason for the Torah and the Besorah. The recorded information, the documentation, right? You recognize and understand that, but if you don't come under the atonement of Yahushua HaMashiach through faith in his blood, if you don't allow Yahuwah to sprinkle clean water on you and give you a new heart, right? The only way you can get a new heart from Yahuwah is through blood. That's the only way there can be an atonement. You can't do it yourself because you don't have the qualifications. That means that Yahuwah had to have a plan that would provide for your cleansing, right? He said, I'll sprinkle clean water on you. Yeah, you knew you had to get in the water. You had to be born again. You had wash, right? And then he has an atonement. He has a blood atonement, a sacrifice that is greater than any other sacrifice that could ever have been offered up. Because lambs and goats, they just covered. But Yahushua cleanses. You can get a new heart, bro. You can get a new heart, bro. Through the witness of Yahushua Mashiach, you can be born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh. Yahuwah can sprinkle clean water on you. He can cleanse you from all your filthiness and from all your idols, all your idolatry, right? All your idols, all your idolatries. Listen, right? My Aki, he sent me a song. Actually, he sent it to the Mishpaka and the Gaal family. He sent it to us, right? And the song, right, was a Lauryn Hill song, right? It's a Lauryn Hill song, and the song was entitled Freedom. The song was entitled Freedom, right? Goodness gracious. Freedom time, right? I remember listening to Lauryn Hill, but I never listened to Lauryn Hill like within ear to ear, especially after she realized the destruction that the enemy was trying to do to her, right? And I listened to this song, Freedom Time, right? Revelation, revealing and understanding. Right? She's got another song in this group of songs, right? Called Jerusalem. Now, Lauryn Hill is poetic, right? But she uses scriptures in a way in which, if you have an ear to hear, you understand exactly what she's saying. But she had to consecrate herself. She had to pull herself away from this world and what it was trying to do to her, right? This was in 2002. Yahuwah was choosing people in 2002. He was waking up Hebrews. But there was other ones that during that time, right? That were our other nation, E1B1A. They ain't flowing like that. You gotta have an Amunah that endures to the end. You gotta understand what this is. Man, that song, Freedom Time, right? Actually, I downloaded the whole album from YouTube. Right. I mean, not from YouTube, but from Apple Play. Understand this. Not everybody's going to wake up. Not all Yasharah is Yasharah. Right? Right? Not all Israel is Israel. Right? She sings about them snakes. She speaks about world religious snakes. The United Snakes. Listen, Babylon. You gotta understand this. Everybody ain't Israel. Everybody that's Israel ain't Israel. Everyone that's E1B1A ain't Israel. Ain't the chosen. We have forefathers. We have those that have gone before us that are of the nation, that are on the continent, that were taken and scattered through the four corners of the earth, that died in sin. But if you are fortunate enough to be the chosen, you have understood the necessity of having Amunah in the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. And you who bear the witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. You who are no longer under the dominion of Hasatan. There gonna be decisions that gonna be made, right? Especially in this hour, to protect you in righteousness. See, because we can't knowingly be complicit in sin, right? It's not us that's doing this sin, but it's the organizations that we may be working for, that we know that are diabolical and wicked. Right? And they want you to do things that are diabolical and wicked. What? No! You who have been born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh, you are the chosen. You who stand up for the righteousness of Torah, you are the chosen. You who believe in Amunah and keep Torah in the blood of Yitschaq, you are the chosen. You are he or she of which Yahuwah has given the keys to the Shamayim. You have authority. You walk in righteousness. You are identified by Hasatan and demons in the arrests. They don't want you disrupting their program. They don't want you disrupting their program. So when you become a problem or a disruption, right, to their demonic flow, right, you're going to have to go. But see, that's a judgment to them. Your righteousness is a judgment to their unrighteousness. So when you have to take a bow, take a bow. And I don't mean bow to worship. I mean bow out. Bow out. We the righteous. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Never ever witnessed the righteous being left without what he or she needs. But the righteous has an obligation to trust in the Torah of Yahuwah, in Amunah, believing that he's righteous, that she's righteous. And because of this, what Torah says is that I will never be forsaken, nor shall my seed be out begging bread. Never. Righteousness. Torah. Sorah. Trusting. Believing. In Amunah. Yasharal. Yahuda. This is an hour. Right? This is an hour. This is the hour. Right? It is. It is. Man, listen, if you don't work for yourself, you know, some of these organizations that you be working for, listen, you're going to have to be so far off the radar, out of their view. Oh, man, listen, some of these things, man, are driven by ruachs of witchcraft and divination. I do when it was time. for me to leave the job that I was working. Most High had told me, it's time. Guardian, protecting the school, kids, right? But the leadership is perverse. You know, they make allowances for pornography. They want to put mandates that go against what I believe in Torah. Oh yeah, I knew it was a matter of time. I knew it. And then one day I got that call. Well, Mr. Walker, Mr. I didn't even mention his name. He decided he's letting you go. And did he say what? No, just the fact that you're, in the contract that you sign, he can let you go at any time. Okay. No problem. It's all good. See, because I knew what Yahuwah had already told me, already warned me. Right? Yahuwah had to build this. He had to cause me to understand that this right here is done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's just there's no need to protect that. I love kids. And you will pull me out. I ain't did nothing wrong. You pull me out. He didn't like the fact that I didn't take Claudine, Aberdeen, and Maxine, and whatever other Steen Dean there is. I ain't doing that. And then you're gonna start hiring pornonia people. G4202, fornicators, adulterers, homosexuals, lesbians. Yeah. No. You would say no. It's time to come out from among them. Because they've chose this world system. To make a choice. Sometimes the Most High won't make that choice for you. But it's okay though. Because I have yet to be forsaken. I've yet to be out begging bread. And Amunah that endures. Listen. In this hour, your Amunah is going to be put to the test. And how are you going to respond? Are you going to fast and pray? Are you going to go forth rejoicing before you because of righteousness? Taking a hit for righteousness. I took a hit for righteousness. It's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Fine with that. I'm not upset about that in the least. I trust the Most High. And He has taken care of it. Right? He's done wonders for me. He's delivered me. And I recognize it. right? I understand this life that demands that I stagger not at the promises of Yahuwah through unbelief. That I be strong in Amunah, be strong in obedience to Torah, right? Being persuaded, convinced, assured, trusting in the loyalty of Yahuwah, believing, not wavering, like a wave that's tossed and driven, but anchored on the rock, Hamashiach, the solid rock. Faith that endures. Listen, we have been in Hebrews. We finished up Hebrews and we moved into Romans, right? With a deeper understanding of Amunah. And how Amunah, is in Hamashiach Yahushua. Right? It's in Hamashiach Yahushua. It begins with believing the truth. It begins with releasing your Amunah in the word of promise. It is trusting in the word made flesh. Believing that this Hamashiach Yahushua has provided an eternal atonement, reintroduced a people into a covenant that had become foreign to them, but has restored it through Hamashiach Yahushua. Brought us back to Torah. Brought us back to obedience in Torah, now having the capacity to keep Torah because it is written in our hearts, right? And not only that, because this word, this Torah, has changed the condition of our hearts, right? We can now cleave to this Torah in obedience, right? And we can continue to feed ourselves this living Torah, Basora, and allow it to create Amunah. Even when we are hit with the left, hit with the right. Things come up, things happen. Things that come up to test your Amunah, to try your Amunah. We can endure. Because he's given us everything we need to endure. Right? Everything we need to endure. Right? We have even more than what Avraham had. We had that which Avraham and everyone else looked to in Hamashiach Yahushua. See, we have Yahuwah through Yahushua Hamashiach in his Ruach living in us. We have a connection with Abba Yahuwah through the witness of Yahushua Hamashiach, the Son. We have received this Ruach. That's the game changer. We now have an Amunah. We have an Amunah that calls things to pass. That is substance in the hands of Yahuwah. See, when you can walk away from a situation like I did, having been terminated, right? And you know, I was making really good money. Terminated. Wife wasn't even working yet. It was that during COVID. Right after that, she got a job. Paying her way more than she was making before. And I went to Uber. Right? Drive around with the word in my car. Educating people. Some people get mad, right? I had a guy jump up, get in my car, and it was a European guy. Right? Picked him up, older. And I was listening to Rebirth of a Nation's documentary, the one that they just revised. The dude was all mad in the backseat. He said, "Do you believe this?" I said, "Yes." Right? He's laughing in the back. And then you can't refute statistical data. Can't refute evidence. So finally, when I get to a stop, he says to me, "Well, wow, I guess you learn something new every day." I said, "Yep." You can rebel and you can buck the truth, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I do this every day when I drive. Sometimes I listen, sometimes I just play Hezekiah, or sometimes I just play Eshan Burgundy, or I'll play who else I play? I play a bunch of different people, right? Whatever the Most High leads me to put on, I put on. Let it play. And then sometimes they ask me questions. So you believe this? I say yes. And then I get a chance to elaborate, because I just don't cast pearls to swines. I leave it to the Most High to put somebody in my car that needs to hear a truth. And then they'll get a truth. And sometimes you get out of my car. One lady got out of my car. She got in my car and I was playing something, and she says to me, "Can you turn that down?" I said, I'll turn it down a little, but I'm not going to turn it down so that I can't hear it. And but if that bothers you or offends you, you can call for another Uber. That'll be fine. She sits in the car. She listens to it. I had to listen to it the whole time. Car slammed the door. It's okay. It's okay. It's the truth. See, the word will come to bring a Torah unto life, or it will bring a Torah unto judgment. See, you ain't gonna ever be able to stand before the Most High and say, "Well, I didn't know." Not if you ever got in my ride. No, not at all. Right? It's the understanding that Yahuwah delivers you from a place so that he can put you in a place that he wants you to be. Right? If that never would have happened, I would have never I would have never been to Connecticut to baptize. I would have never been to New York to baptize. I would have never been to South Carolina, North Carolina to baptize. You know, I would have never been doing the work of Yahuwah. Never. Well, I would have been caught up doing caught up protecting the unrighteous. Somebody said, nah, that's, well, you know, listen, I'm going to tell you something, right? I'm talking about me. This is what the Most High instructed me. I'm not you, right? You're not me. What I do because the Most High gives me to do. I'm not going to do no more than He gives me to do. Right? I'm going to do exactly what He leads me to do. And I'm going to do it until the end. Because my Amunah demands it. My obedience to Torah demands it. Right? Trials and tribulations are going to demand it. It's going to demand it. I believe the scriptures. I believe Torah. When I say house and riches are the inheritance of fathers and a prudent wife is from you, I believe that scripture. When I declare the word out of my mouth in Amunah with the Ruach HaKodesh, I believe that word goes forth and accomplishes that which it has been sent forth to do. I believe Yahuwah has given to us the treasures of darkness, the hidden riches of secret places. I believe that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just, that sinners have the task of accumulating this wealth to hand it over to the righteous. And I'm not just talking about giving a bunch of Negroes reparations. I'm talking about the righteous, those that Yahuwah has chosen. Because you know, you give a Negro reparations that don't have a righteous direction. He gonna do right by it. He gonna do right by it. He's not gonna do it. What shall we say that Avraham, our father, as pertaining to the flesh has found? Romans 4:1, Romans 4:2. For if Avraham were justified by works, he haveth whereof to glory, but not before Yahuwah. Avraham had the Torah, the Besorah of Yahuwah, as his demonstration. He believed the word that Yahuwah gave to him. He believed the word that Yahuwah gave to him, right? Avraham was persuaded, right? He was persuaded. Avraham was moved by argument, entreaty, or postulation of a belief, right? Expostulation, or convinced by something that someone had told him and provided information that supported it. The belief and the course of action that Yahuwah had gave him. He was persuaded. He was convinced. He wasn't convinced as a result of what he did. What he did was a direct relationship to what he was convinced of. He was convinced that what Yahuwah's word said is what was going to happen. He was convinced of that. He knew what Yahuwah had said was true. So much so that he got up and left. And went into the land of Canaan and sojourned there. Because Yahuwah told him to get up away from these pagan people that you grew your father's house. Get away from these pagans. Go to a land that I've promised you. Tell him, man, I'm going to make you the father of many nations. He believed you. 100 years old. 70 years old. Womb dead. He old. He was convinced in Amunah because he knew his physical demonstration, right, didn't necessarily equate to the outcome of being the father of many nations. And you know, evidence suggests that at the age of 70, if you haven't had any kids, your womb is barren, then chances are your womb is going to remain barren. Unless Yahuwah opens your womb. He was persuaded. Avraham was convinced. He was convinced. He understood. He understood. He understood, right? It says here, for what saith the scriptures? Avraham had Amunah in Elu. He believed you. Listen. Faith and obedience go hand in hand. Faith in what you were said, and obedience in doing what you were says to do. Right? He was justified because he believed. He was justified because he believed. Let's look at the word justified. Abraham was justified. He had an Amunah that endured to the end. Right? He had an Amunah that endured to the end. Avraham was justified. An Amunah that endures to the end. Right? Amunah that endures to the end. Justified. Right? Merriam-Webster's is having or shown to have had a just right or reasonable basis. Abraham was just, right? He had shown himself to be just and right because he received a Torah from Yahuwah. You're going to be the father of many nations. Here, go to a place where I have prepared for you. he received it and considered the author of what was said, Yahuwah, the word, to be sure, and his demonstration was right. Avrahim's demonstration was right. Justified, right? It also, let me see what else we have. Synonyms. Just, good, rational, solid, informed, firm. Avraham, right? For if Avraham was right by what he did in works only, he haveth to glory, but not before Yahuwah. Because it had nothing to do with him complying with an instruction of Yahuwah. You have to receive a Torah from Yahuwah. Demonstrate obedience to that Torah. Therefore being just before Yahuwah. Right? He says here. For what saith the scripture, Avraham believed Yahuwah, and it was counted unto him for righteousness. See, if I take the Torah and allow myself to hear the Torah and allow the Torah to transform the way I think and what I confess, right? My demonstration is going to be righteous because Torah is my motivation, right? My belief in what Yahuwah said is my motivation. My belief in what Yahuwah says is what's going to cause me to endure to the end. My belief and my verbal acknowledging of his word is what's going to establish me into the end. Because, I'm not trusting in my own understanding. So the scriptures declares that we are not to lean unto our own understanding. In all our ways acknowledge him. How? By consulting him in Torah. Acknowledging that he has the wisdom that you need in Torah. And then by that word, by the Ruach, by prayer, he will give you a direction. Provides you a clarity of thought. He will reveal the truth of the direction. He believed Yahuwah and it was counted unto him as righteousness. Right? He says, now to him that worketh is not reward, not reckoned of grace, but of debt. You go to a job, you work. You don't work because it's right. You work because that's what you do. You work. And whatever you work, you receive a wage. Okay? There's a wage attached to the work, right? Because there's a debt to be paid based on work. Right? But if him that worketh not, but believe, him that's going to trust in Yahuwah and not lean unto his own understanding, go and accept the fact that, you know what, these people don't want me here no more. It ain't got nothing to do how good of an employee I am. It has nothing to do with the fact that I was always on time and dedicated. I have to believe Yahuwah for whatever the outcome is, right? But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifies Yahuwah. Believes on him that justifies, right? Him that justifies the ungodly, right? Yahuwah makes right the ungodly by providing them a Torah, providing them a word, that if they obey that word, right, and trust Yahuwah in that word, they will have manifestation of that word, right? If we trust in the word made flesh, that Torah, that Besorah that Yahuwah had sent, right? That word that was the light of the world, that word that was full of grace and truth, if we receive that word, that Torah in Amunah, we are justified because of what that Torah provided. That Torah was the Lamb of Yahuwah that takes away the sins of the world. Amunah. Being convinced, being fully persuaded, having had a word, and saying that word over and over. I can imagine Avraham, his name being changed to the father of many nations, literally. Every time someone called his name Avraham, right, because our names meant something. You know, not like Weldon Walker, you know. No, like Yaakov Yahuda Gaol. Our names meant something. That's why they snatched our names from us. Snatched everything, our language from us. They did it. But see, Yahuwah justifies them to believe it. Because we received the Torah. He justified us because we received the witness of Yitschaq. He justified us because we had Amunah, because we believed. Because we believed. In whom also you trusted after that you heard a word. Avraham heard a word from you. Avraham heard a word from you, right? After he heard the word of truth, didn't receive the promise that we did, because we received the word of proof. We received Avraham received the word from Yahuwah. That was true. But we received the word of truth, the Yahushua, the word made flesh, right? Right? The Besorah of Yeshua, the good news of salvation. the news was Yeshua, Yah's salvation, right? In whom also that after you believed, you released your Amunah, right? You were sealed with the Ruach HaKodesh truth. You were sealed with the Ruach HaKodesh truth. Now listen. He says here, not of him. Now he says, but to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth, right? Believeth on him that justifies the ungodly. Believe on Yahushua Mashiach that justifies the ungodly. Avraham believed you that justified him, right? Avraham maintained atonement. He maintained an atonement. Yahuwah allowed the blood of goats and of calves, right, to cause Avraham in his Amunah and obedience to what Yahuwah says, to justify. We, who have been born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh, and who have received the Ruach of truth, Ruach HaKodesh of truth, we have been justified. His Amunah is counted for righteousness. His Amunah is counted as righteousness. He believed on him, Yahuwah, who justifies. He believed Yahuwah, so he was justified. We believe the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach that Yahuwah sent his only son to be a propitiation for our sins. We receive in Amunah this sacrifice, this atonement that has put us in the dominion of Yahuwah. We receive this witness. We've been justified. We have to continue to trust in this Torah. We have to continue to trust in this Torah. Romans 4, Romans 10 and let's see. Where do I want to start? Romans. Okay. Romans 10 and 6. Amunah. Right. But the righteousness which is of Amunah, that rightness, that is the result of Amunah, because you have to have Amunah in this Torah of truth. The Torah of truth, right? But the righteousness which is of Amunah speaketh on this wise, saying, was wise. Say not in thine heart, who shall ascend into the Shamayim, that is to bring Hamashiach down from above, or who shall ascend into the deep, that is to bring up Hamashiach again from the dead, right? Verse 8. But what saith it, the word? The Torah. Right? The Torah. The word made flesh, Yahushua Mashiach. Right? The word is near thee. Right? It's in thy mouth. Spoken. Torah. It's in my heart. I've received a new heart through the atonement of Yahushua Mashiach. It is the Torah of Amunah. Now, the word in our heart, spoken in Amunah from our mouth, right? The word of Amunah, which we declare, right? Right? What I give to you is a word of Amunah, a word that if you take heed of, and a word that you hold on to, a word that you will speak forth from your mouth, will cause you to endure to the end, right? Hebrews. You gotta understand this. Hebrews, where is that? It says, where is that? Okay. It says, these all died in Amunah. Hebrews 11:13, right? Not having received Yeshua, salvation, justification, eternal, through Hamashiach Yahusha, right? He says, but having seen it afar off, because you gave them glimpses and shown them from afar off meaning that, salvation was yet years away, right? Embraced them and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims. I mean, what did they confess? What did they embrace? They embraced the word of Yahuwah, the Torah of Yahuwah. Avraham confessed. He said they confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims in the earth. But that wasn't the summation of the total of their confession. They had to continue to say what Yahuwah says. That's why, I'm going to always declare to you the necessity of the witness. Being born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh. I understand this in Amunah, right? There's no Yeshua apart from the witness. There's no salvation apart from the witness, right? You have to be born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh. See, once Yahushua HaMashiach was manifested, the only way to Yahuwah was through Yahushua HaMashiach. Only way. You couldn't go through him through Torah and providing a sacrifice, because look, that vanished away. Vanished away. Look, you on the continent, right? We got our ancestors on the continent. They still offering up animal sacrifices, right? I mean, if you're offering up an animal sacrifice for a feast day, right? For a feast day, right? But Yahushua HaMashiach is the atonement. He is the atonement. He is the Lamb, right? He has provided a Yeshua to a people, right? That does not require goats and lambs and turtle doves and all the rest of that stuff, and cumin and all of that. We ain't got to do that no more. It's not required. See, they looked to this. Avraham knew that his justification was because he had to continue to keep atonement. Right? Right? He believed Yahuwah, and it was counted unto him as righteousness. Right? Yahuwah knew that Avraham believed him. And Avraham had an atonement that he made and he kept regularly for him and the people. He kept feast days. Avraham. Avraham offered up sacrifices. Avraham was justified because he believed Yahuwah. Avraham's confession was, I'm the father of many nations. You call Avraham by his name, Avraham, father of many nations. Avraham, father of many nations. Every time he heard it was Amunah. Very good, very good, very good. And they had it, and it endured, not having received the promise. They endured, not having received the promise. Right? All these died in Amunah, not having received the promise, but having seen them from afar off and were persuaded and embraced and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims. He says, but what saith it? The word is nigh thee. It's in thy mouth, in thy heart. That's just the way it is. And what the solution, Mashiach, is in your mouth and it's in your heart. Yahuwah has put the Torah in our hearts. The will to do what is right in Torah is in our hearts. The Ten Commandments is in our hearts, in the witness of Yitschaq. If thou shalt confess with thy mouth Adonai Yahusha, and shall believe in thine heart that Eloah has raised him from the dead, you have Yeshua. For the scripture says, whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. And there is no difference between Yehudi, Ivri, and Greek. For the same Adonai over all is rich unto all that call upon him. Your Torah, your life, your presentation to those that are around you, your Torah, your life, your presentation to all those that are around you is unto salvation, if they receive it. If they don't, it's a judgment, because they reject it. There are those who will never receive it because they love their sin. They love what they're in. They love their diabolical way of doing things. You know? These governments, man, these rulers, United Snakes, right? Right? the French serpents. Colonizers working hand in hand to suppress a people, to steal their resources, right? To want to bring them into bondage. Listen. Good luck with that. Them days is over. The lion is woken up. Sub-Saharan Africa is waking up. The territories of the nations where they have been scattered are waking up. The territories on the continents of the Yahudim, the Ivri, the Bantu, the Ibu, Ivri is waking up. Nigeria, Niger, Mali, even Gabon. The scripture says, whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. Whosoever has faith in the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, who believes in the Torah of Yahuwah and its capacity to renew their minds, to transform the way they think, to affect their hearts, causing them to live in obedience, to come forth out of their mouth in demonstration, in power, bringing forth manifestation. Whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed and be thou cast into the sea, shall not doubt in his heart, but believe the things which he say shall come to pass. He shall have what he says. This is the Amunah that is enduring to the end. The Amunah that speaks to the heart. But what saith it? The word is nigh thee. It's in thy mouth and thy heart. It's the word of Amunah. That word of Amunah, if you confess with your mouth, you speak a Torah. Who has believed our report? Who has Amunah in the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach that will give you everything you need to establish you in Amunah to the end? Who has believed our report? To whom is the honor of Yahuwah been revealed? Who? Who's believed the report? He said, but if thou shalt confess with thy mouth, Adonai Yahushua. Listen, Yahushua is the Torah, right? If you confess Yahushua, the Torah, with your mouth, hence, if you confess the word with your mouth, and if you believe the Torah in Amunah that you confess with your mouth in your heart, right? Alua, believe that Yahuwah is what Yahuwah has done what he said, here raised Hamashiach from the dead. If you believe that you will be the father of many nations, if you believe that your womb would give birth, if you believe that he called you to a place to go, if you will believe, you shall receive. He said, you shall be saved. It's the same Amunah, of which is going to cause you to endure to the end. You have to say the Torah in your heart. You've got to meditate on Torah to change the way you think. Right? Because your mind ain't renewed. Your mind ain't new. Your mind has to constantly be renewed by this Torah. See, what the heart man believes. See, Torah, when read, right, is in agreement with the Torah in your heart. The Torah that you speak out of your mouth, from out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. For with the mouth confession is made unto Yeshua. The Torah that is written in your heart has to come forth out of your mouth, right? Right? For with the heart man believeth unto righteousness, but with the mouth confession. Whosoever shall say unto this mountain, I speak to the mountain of sickness and disease. I command you by the authority of the power of the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, because he's given me delegated power. I say to you, loose the people of Yahuwah that he has chosen. Come out of them. Come off of them. I say it so. In Amunah. He shall have whatsoever he saith. The Amunah. The Amunah that is in your heart. It's in your mouth. It's renewed in your mind. It's quickened. Makes you alive. For with the mouth man believeth unto righteousness, with the heart man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. Now Yeshua's salvation comes from what you believe in. He says, listen, he says, with the heart man believeth. With the mouth confession. If it's healing, that's the confession based on Torah, which is available to you, that you speak. Your Yeshua is being free from sickness. That's your salvation. He says, scripture says, whosoever believeth, who has Amunah on him, shall not be ashamed. See, you're going to endure to the end. Because your Amunah is connected to your heart. And if you're born again, you've received a new one. If you're born again, you have Yahuwah's love, Ruach, heart. You have what is necessary on the inside of you to be established unto the end, but you got to feed this. You got to meditate this. You got to pray this. You got to seek this. You got to seek Yahuwah in the Torah, the Messiah of truth. You got to meditate on this day and night. You got to allow Amunah to come. can't separate Amunah from Torah. You can't separate Amunah from obedience to Torah. You got to walk in obedience. That'll cause you to endure. You've got to hear the word of Yahuwah to continue to allow faith to come. That'll cause you to endure. You have to write this in your heart. You have to allow this before your eyes. It's front. This Torah. This Besorah of truth. This Yahushua Mashiach's witness. This being born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh. The Amunah endures to the end. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen, it is Torah. It's the belief in Torah. And for us, it is the belief in the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, the Word made flesh, and receiving this in Amunah, and upon receiving this, being established and growing in Torah. Some of y'all should be moving mountains. Some of y'all should be saying some things and having those things come to pass. Not all y'all, because some of y'all is not enduring. Enduring. Right. Amunah, that endures. Amunah is a loyalty, an allegiance, a duty to a person. We have a loyalty, an allegiance, and a duty. And in that loyalty and in that allegiance, in that duty, is a commitment to be equipped throughout the service that we have been given, right? Right? It is the belief and trust and the loyalty of Yahuwah. Right? We have to trust, believe in the loyalty of Yahuwah, right? Right? And then we have to do this in adversity. An ability to withstand hardship and adversity. We have to do this in hardship and in adversity. The act or an instance of enduring suffering. Amunah. That's going to hold up in the midst of hardship and adversity. And Amunah that is established on the Torah made flesh, built up on the Torah made flesh, and the Torah of Yahuwah, spoken Torah, meditated on Torah, praying and fasting in Torah, in order to withstand. Right? Having done all to stand. Ephesians 5. Let's do that real quick. We'll close it out with Ephesians 5. I think it's Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5. Is Ephesians not looking for? Is it Ephesians 6? Yeah, Ephesians 6, I'm sorry. Finally, my brother, be strong in Adonai Yahushua and the power of his might. See, the strong endure to the end. Right? Right? Put on the whole armor of Elohiym, because you want to endure. Right? That ye may be able to stand against the wiles, the onslaughts, the trickery, the devices, the schemes of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darknesses of this world, against spiritual wickednesses in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Elohiym. Because that is the only way you're going to be able to stand. That ye may be able to withstand in the evil day. These days are evil. Having done all, stand. Having done all, stand, right? Then he says here, what's that? He says in verse 16, above all, taking the shield of Amunah. Because your Amunah in the word of Yahuwah is going to cause you to withstand when Hasatan starts to send attacks. Because you got the word that brings Amunah. You have a word that you can confess. The word of faith. You have the word of Amunah, the Torah, the Besorah, that is in your heart. You can speak a Torah and bring it to pass. You are the word made flesh in the earth. You have Yahuwah's Ruach HaKodesh in you. Wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts. You can quench them all. You can quench them all with just an Amunah word. You can quench them all. You can quench them all. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, an Amunah that endures to the end. An Amunah that refuses to stagger, to doubt. An Amunah that's going to be persuaded and that's going to endure. Yahuwah is made available to you. You just got to live it out. Every day. Day. Abba Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, I thank you for the words that you've given me to give to them. I pray that Amunah, that they will receive this word in Ruach and in truth. I pray, Yahuwah, as according to your word says, that it will not go out and return to you void. I pray that those that you have chosen to receive this Torah, this Besorah, would receive it. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Abba Yahuwah, let the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart, accept from thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Man of Yah, called to greatness. Woman of Yahuwah, beautifully and wonderfully made today. Yahuwah's favored you. The Amunah that endures to the end. Above all, taking the shield of Amunah. Understanding that it's the Amunah that has brought you into this witness of Yahushua Mashiach. That Amunah that has established you in the righteousness of Yahushua Mashiach. That has caused it to be written in your heart and spoken from your mouth. That Amunah is going to cause you to endure. to the end. With that I say, man of Yah, woman of Yah, called to greatness, woman of Yahuwah, beautifully and wonderfully made, that Yahuwah's favorite you. Go forth in the blessings of Yahuwah, receive the word of Yahuwah, share the word of Yahuwah, and be blessed. Shalom. Shalom.
Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.